you for staying on News Desk. It's now time for Tech News with Kobe and Nkrumah. It's been a long time we did this, hasn't it?
It has been a while.
Supreme Court has taken over the airways, but at least we have a break this week to talk about what's been happening in the world of technology. We start off in India because there appears to be some restrictions on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Tell us about it.
So India is asking the social media companies to give them sort of some control over whatever goes on their platforms, because they deem, and this is hot on the heels of on what happened on Twitter after the farmer strike. And India was, the government of India was asking Twitter to take down some, content and accounts because they deemed them as incendiary. That was the description they used for the account. And it got to a point where Twitter was just not budging anymore, because it said, hey, some of these accounts you're asking us to, block are politicians, are journalists, and it doesn't make sense. So we're not going to block it. And as a result, India's government is upset and saying that, hey, it's asking them to give them three compliance officers, one a compliance officer, two a grievance officer, and three a contact person. So the compliance officer will ensure that they follow local laws. The grievance officer will address complaints from India's users about their platform. So if someone has a problem with the platform, they should be able to take it to the grievance user. And then a contact person available to Indian law enforcement 24/7. And I mean, when you look at it, if it wasn't based on what was happening, it makes sense. Because locally, imagine in Ghana, if something happened and we thought that it was fake news and we wanted it taken down, we should have a direct link to someone at, these social media companies or these tech companies that could make it easy. Other than that, now you have to try and find someone who knows someone at Facebook or Twitter. And that
but they already have complaint systems. So, for example, if you see a video on Facebook, it allows you to report the video. And sometimes you're even allowed to give extra details about why you think it's inappropriate, or
but
you
this
think...
could take some time. So imagine if it was something that was,
quite urgent.
Urgent. It would take a while, because if you report, it now has to go through the systems, first the AI systems to check, and then the person, it could be tedious. So that's what they're asking for. But then the concerns that this could be controlling, that these governments may abuse that power and decide that if this post that goes up is against my government or against something that we're propagating, then we want it to be taken down. That could be controlling the internet and social media and free speech as it is.
All right, so quickly, before we talk about Mark reportedly been infected with some mysterious malware, let's stay on Twitter and discuss the issue of mean tweets and how Twitter is hoping to deal with that. So Twitter is working on a new tool that would automatically detect and block abusive accounts for users. Now, it's already does this for certain language, that people use on Twitter. If you use certain words, it could actually block it. It could block that tweet and even block your account for a certain period of time. And I've been a victim of this. I was just going to say that.
So now they're working on a tool that could be better, and people who are not saying something mean, but maybe the words came out mean, like me, for instance, would not be blocked. But
share your example so it's practical.
I think I said I made a statement that had to do with something about a retard. And I used the word retard, and I think the way I put the words together...
It wasn't negative.
It was negative, but it was actually a question that I was asking. I was asking if whoever came up with that post was not, something had to do with retardedness. And they thought I was insulting someone, calling them names for being mentally...
so instantly you're taking off.
Instantly, yes.
So do we know how this will work? Will it be like a report system? How will it work?
So, now everything is working with AI and machine learning. So it's going to be based on artificial intelligence, which is going to learn the language over time and understand that, okay, when people say this is what it means, and this account has been doing this for a long time, people have been complaining, this is the kind of reports that responses people have been giving to this account, and then determine that account is mean and then take it down.
Interesting. Quickly, we have to wrap this up, but let's talk about Mac. And this
malware.
What's quite surprising to me, because we've been made to believe that Mac's operating system is like
immune to malware,
foolproof. It's very difficult to break through. So how did this happen?
Well, I've been telling people Macs are not immune to malware. It's the fact that if an armed robber was going to rob someone, they'd go to an area which could give them more bounty. And PCs or Windows computers are, you know, larger, have a larger market share than Macs, which makes no business sense, quote unquote, for the hacker or the malware programmer to create viruses for it. And these researchers who found this virus can't tell how or what it's doing on the systems of the infected machines. And it seems it's a Trojan horse. It's just a thing they're waiting to be given a command, because it even has a kill switch, which hasn't been used yet. So it means that they still haven't used it. Whoever developed this malware hasn't triggered it yet, and which is why it's still there. So they're advising people who use Macs, you may not know whether you're infected by it because it leaves no traces. So just get an antivirus, one of the popular ones. It could be Norton or anything, and just install it, run it, let it scan your computer. If it's infected, it will take it off.
This is interesting, because I never put an antivirus on my Mac. So it's interesting. But thank you so much for sharing with us, Kobe. That's Kobe Spiking Nkrumah, our tech guy. And if you don't listen to Geek Squad on Joy 99.7 FM, I don't know what you do on Tuesdays from 7 p.m., right? But it's one that you have to listen to.
Now we repeat it on JoyNews on Sundays at 4 p.m.
Oh, wow. That's nice. Thank you for the info. So we'll be watching on Sunday as well. Thank you very much, Kobe, for bringing us up-to-date information from the tech world. But you're watching news that's coming up shortly in business. Minister Designate for Tourism announces a 50 million cedi facility to finance entrepreneurs in tourism. Do stay with us for details of this.